Hello friends, Assalamu alaikum, Namaste, Vanakkam, Sasriyakal, Kamanachi, Kemcho, Majama. Today, I would like to let all of us know, all my viewers who are watching this video, why do companies lay off in the last few years post COVID, and despite the companies revenues are falling down, why do they lay off? That's one thing. And then again, when companies are growing, and again we see some layoff. There is a the hidden truth which many people, all of us, whoever are working in last couple of decades, and especially in post COVID, people should know what's the reason behind this and why companies do it. So without wasting any time, let me start my quick thoughts. Usually, we have seen the way things were happening before COVID. We used to have companies used to hire more employees. They used to see for more stable growth, and the company used to generate more revenues. So, and they were stable business. As we, even in my last few videos, there was nobody thought about much uncertainty in a way, the way things are happening, post COVID, due to all these geopolitical tensions, trade tariffs, your government regulations, everything, the restriction of critical rare earth minerals and different technologies transfer. So we have seen how the companies were hiring employees on a very large scale, and that's the growth. How every quarter, every year, how the revenues were growing year on year, and based on that revenues, the share price of every company performs in the market, and that itself it is a good sign for the investors and companies, and the company's management, the board. They're able to distribute the dividends, the profits among themselves. So that's very important. And we also should know how the companies used to perform. Used to measure the performance of of its own based on different metrics. They see the revenue every quarter, the profit, and then also the efficiency, what an employee contributes, how much work, what its productivity, and what kind of value we are, every employee is trying to give. So that's the way they used to measure all the entire performance of the employees, and also how they even evaluate the company's efficiency, how their working capital is, their margins. So there are different factors which every companies were looking, even today also. But yes, I would say the metrics which they measure the employees must change, because before pre-COVID, yes, everybody were coming to office and the work was being measured as per their goals, their objectives, and they were different way of measuring employees' productivity. Now post COVID, yes, when we saw in COVID 2020, 21, even after COVID 2 years, people were still, few companies were still working from home, isolated. So it was difficult to understand what the employees were feeling. They were getting burnt out due to excessive, tremendous working hours. We all saw it. We are all part of this, part of that crisis when it happened. So it's very important to understand the employee morale, and you need to understand how they are going through. So as I mentioned, yes, before COVID there were a lot of hiring. Companies were focusing on more stability, and after COVID, the survival, there was a different mindset. Companies had to survive rather than growth. They had to survive. So flexibility got more attention rather than loyalty. So that's very important. So companies moved from growth thinking to survival thinking. So that's very important. I know what we have seen. Now, why we should understand layoffs are happening, and the employees contribution in the company almost is around 40 to 70%. So that's the fastest way for any company today to first cut the expenses by laying off the employees, because that gives them to improve their financial status, and also there has been a lot of repetitive work, and that's why they bring in AI. So that's why parallelly AI has also been introduced, as we have seen. in these years, and the same amount of work replaces human beings. So before you have 100 you employ 100 people to do, now it's just 10 employees, with AI can finish your work. So that's the way they are looking at, that's the biggest crux, how the companies are really targeting employees and trying to improve the I would say the P&L of the company. So we have seen companies in the last 6 years, during COVID, we had Boeing, for example, Boeing also, they had laid off around 17,000 employees. They had a lot of because of flights being grounded. There were no airplanes in the sky, so I think all of us were restricted from traveling around. So we had seen how the things were disrupting the market. And then even a classical example of an automobile company like Nissan, they also laid off around 20,000 employees. There were no sales, demand was not there. So these all companies could not adapt because they're all very high. I would say they cater to most of the high segment kind of needs of the different industries. So if you talk about the tech companies, yes, we had tech companies like Amazon, who had massively, because you have a Meta, Microsoft, they had massively because everything was AI driven. They introduced AI. They had AI a decade back, I would say. But yes, they relied on much faster work, AI efficiency. They wanted to become lean. So for them, growth was not like not much. Only the efficiency mattered more. So that's why in today's context, what I'm trying to tell you is AI's dominance in the market is really fast growing. So you cannot, as I mentioned, 10 people are doing today's job. Instead of 10, you have 3 plus AI, who will assist and who will help human beings to do their jobs more faster. So that's how AI didn't create layoffs, but yes, it made them easier. So that's how how companies are trying to today project themselves, what's happening. So my final thoughts today, will be like we have seen, even when the revenues were falling, people lay off. The companies lay off. So why? Because they had to survive. There was no other alternative. Now, despite companies growing, revenue is growing, and then they are again laying off. The main reason is efficiency. So I think in this entire video, I'm just trying to help you, help all of us understand, and whoever are watching this video, companies don't lay off people when they fail. They lay off people when they can succeed with fewer. So today's scenario is in such a way, every company is trying to work in a very linear manner. So that's why you may see that despite companies' revenue, their profits, there are companies in the last few weeks, we have seen Oracle, the way they laid off, and then they hired a CFO, CFO, and she's a woman. But yes, they are trying to invest more into AI technologies, invest in data centers, as we have seen in India itself. Asia is one of the largest growing data centers. So I will maybe I'll make a different video on that next week. But yes, we really all of us need to think, and this is a hint for all my viewers. Companies are really looking for a leaner model. Even the revenue grows, they get good profits. They're able to, because they have to distribute dividends, they have to convince, and they have to satisfy their shareholders. So it's very important we all of us should understand. So I hope this video is very useful to all of you. Please feel free to share your comments, your thoughts, and I think this will really help us to understand how we try to work, how we learn AI. Again, that's my repetitive way of communicating to all my friends. And yes, let's see what happens in the next few weeks and months. So take care. Have a safe weekend. Till then, I'll see you next week. Thank you. Bye bye.